Before she was an Academy Award-winning actress, before the standing ovations, the gold statue, and one unforgettable acceptance speech, she was simply one thing. She was Cher. A singer with a recognizable voice, a bold personality, and a determination that refused to fit inside anyone else's expectations. This is the story of Cher's road to the Oscars, a journey that transformed her from a pulp cultural phenomenon to one of Hollywood's most unlikely and compelling actresses. Hello everyone, my name is Jason Turner and welcome to The Real Verdict. This is my series of Road to the Oscars, and today we're going to be taking a look at probably my favorite performer of all time, the one and only Cher. We're going to see how back in 1988, Cher managed to beat out some heavyweight hitters and took home the Oscar for Best Actress. In the 1960s and 70s, Cher was already a household name. As one half of Sonny and Cher, she dominated the music charts and the television screens. Hits like I've Got You Babe made her a star, while the Sonny and Cher comedy hour showcased her wit and charisma. But by the late 1970s, her career was at a crossroads. The variety show had ended, her music career was cooling, and Hollywood, it didn't take her seriously. To many, Cher was a celebrity, a performer, but not an actress. She knew she had something to prove. Determined to reinvent herself, she made a very bold decision. She would study acting seriously and move away from the music which made her a star. She trained under renowned acting coach Lee Strasberg, immersing herself in the craft. This wasn't just a vanity project. It was about complete transformation. She started out small, in theater roles, and in stage performances like Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean. She made quite a successful run on Broadway. Now, her work on stage demanded vulnerability and discipline. This is when people started taking notice of Cher and thought maybe she is going to be a real actress. Which brings us to her next big breakthrough, which was the movie Silkwood. In 1983, Cher's first major breakthrough role came in the form of the film Silkwood. She would star alongside Meryl Streep and Kurt Russell. Cher took the role of Dolly Pellicker, a tough, raw, and emotionally complex woman working in a nuclear facility. This was not a glamorous role. It wasn't flashy, and that's exactly why it worked. Gone was the glamorous pop diva, and in her place was a grounded, believable actress delivering a deeply human performance. Now, one of Cher's famous stories is when Silkwood was going to get its premiere, it was actually playing its movie trailer at one of the theaters, and Cher snuck into the theater to see people's reactions. So when the trailer for Silkwood started playing, Meryl Streep's name came up, everybody in the audience cheered. Kurt Russell's name came up, everybody cheered. Cher's name came up on the screen, and the audience started to laugh. This was definitely a hit. This really made her question, can I do this? Am I serious? And more importantly, is everybody going to take me serious as an actress? But once the movie's release, people changed their opinions and learned to shut their mouths. On December 14th, 1983, Silkwood was released. It received critical acclaim, and even more impressive was the reception of Cher's performance. She surprised her critics, she surprised Hollywood, and she surprised everybody who ever doubted her talent. The praise for her performance continued into award season. She received her first Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actress. And even more exciting, not only was she nominated, but she won. After the Golden Globes win, things took an even bigger turn. Cher received her first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. This was a breakthrough into the film industry and a clear message to Hollywood she was the real deal. She was, in fact, an actress. Now, if Silkwood opened the door to film for Cher, then her next project, Mask, kicked the door wide open. In the film Mask, Cher played Rusty Dennis, a fiercely loving mother raising her son who has a severe facial deformity. This performance was raw, it was emotional, and it was fearless. She stripped away of her vanity, fully inhabiting a flawed but deeply compassionate character. Both audiences and critics alike praised Cher for her performance, everyone feeling like they could connect with her. And yet, despite this widespread acclaim, Cher was notably snubbed by the Academy. No Oscar nomination for Mask. Now, getting snubbed by the Academy for Mask did hurt and it did sting. But in true Cher form, she got her revenge in a different kind of way. She was a presenter that year at the Oscars, and she did something that pretty much only Cher could do. She showed up in what is now probably one of her most iconic Oscar outfits with the giant headdress, and when she took the stage, she jokingly said to the audience,
"As you can see, I did receive my Academy booklet on how to dress like a serious actress."
This stuck it to the Academy in a nice way, but it definitely made for one of the most memorable moments in Oscar history, and the audience wasn't going to be waiting too long to see Cher again at the Oscars. By the late 1980s, Cher was proving she could do more than just drama. Her next project was The Witches of Eastwick. She starred alongside Susan Sarandon, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Jack Nicholson in this darkly comedic fantasy. Here, Cher showcased her comedic timing and magnetic screen presence. She wasn't just holding her own amongst powerhouse actors, she was thriving. Hollywood was beginning to see what Cher had known all along. She wasn't limited to just one type of role. She was versatile, and people loved her. And it was just a matter of time until the right part led her to that Oscar stage. And next up was the movie that changed everything. That movie was, of course, Moonstruck. Released in 1987, the romantic comedy Moonstruck would become the defining film of Cher's acting career. She played Loretta Castorini, a widowed Italian-American woman in New York who finds herself unexpectedly falling in love with her fiancé's passionate, one-handed brother, played by Nicolas Cage. It was a role that demanded everything: warmth, humor, vulnerability, and strength. And boy, did Cher deliver it in all aspects effortlessly. Her performance was electric. She brought authenticity to every scene, balancing comedy and emotion with sheer precision. Audiences adored her, and critics celebrated her. The film was a hit worldwide, and this time the Academy could not ignore her. When award season came around, she was getting the recognition that she deserved. Starting off with the Golden Globes, Cher took home the award for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, beating out Jennifer Grey for Dirty Dancing, Holly Hunter for Broadcast News, Diane Keaton for Baby Boom, and Bette Midler for Outrageous Fortune. Following that win, no surprise, the Academy came knocking, and Cher scored her second Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Actress in a Leading Role. And finally, it was time for the big night, the 1988 Academy Awards. Now, going into the evening, Cher was, I guess, considered somewhat of the frontrunner, winning the Golden Globe. Her movie was really big. People really loved her performance. And of course, I think one of the biggest things that helps anybody during the Oscars is they really loved her. But who were the other nominees this year, and what performances were they bringing to the table? Let's take a quick look. An Academy Award darling, Meryl Streep gave another stellar performance in the movie Ironweed. She played Helen Archer, a fragile yet resilient woman struggling with homelessness and alcoholism. Streep brings a haunting vulnerability to the role. Her physical transformation is striking, but it's the subtle details, the tremble in her voice, the distant look in her eyes, that truly convey Helen's pain and faded dreams. What makes her performance so powerful is how deeply human it feels. She doesn't overplay the character's suffering. Instead, she lets it simmer beneath the surface, making every moment feel raw and real. Her chemistry with Jack Nicholson adds another layer of depth, creating a relationship that feels both broken and tender. Overall, Streep delivers a deeply moving portrayal that lingers on long after the film ends. Now, at this time, Meryl Streep had already won 2 Oscars within 8 years, with her most recent win just being 5 years prior for Sophie's Choice. Now, I don't think going into the night, any of us really expected Meryl Streep to take this one. Again, she already had those Oscars. She already had 2 Oscars and all these other nominations in between. And to be honest, when you look back in 1988, things were a little bit different. When it comes to Best Actress, her performance was very raw. It was very depressing. It was kind of heavy. These are the type of things for Best Actress back then that didn't really a lot of times equal a win. Typically, they did enjoy more performances that maybe a little bit lighter hearted, a little bit more uplifting when it came to the Best Actress role. Our second nominee is Holly Hunter for Broadcast News. Now, Holly Hunter's performance in Broadcast News is brilliant. There's a blend of intensity, vulnerability, and sharp comedic timing. She plays Jane Craig, a fiercely driven television producer. Hunter captures the world of high-pressure journalism with remarkable authenticity. Her rapid-fire delivery and nervous energy perfectly reflect a woman constantly balancing ambition with emotional uncertainty. What makes Hunter stand out is that she reveals Jane's inner conflict without losing the character's strength. Beneath her professional confidence lies an insecurity and longing, especially in her relationships. And Hunter knows how to navigate those layers with subtle precision. Her famous emotional breakdown scene was both raw and controlled, showcasing her ability to make even the most dramatic moments feel grounded and real. Overall, Hunter does deliver a deeply engaging performance that is both intelligent and heartfelt. It was deeply engaging. It was super heartfelt, super intelligent. The other thing, Broadcast News did receive a lot of critical acclaim that year, and her performance was super praised. But going into the night, I don't feel like Holly Hunter had much of a chance to actually take the prize that night. Next up is Glenn Close for Fatal Attraction. Now, realistically, what can I say about this performance that already hasn't been said? Glenn Close's performance in Fatal Attraction is nothing short of electrifying. As Alex Frost, she transforms what could be a one-dimensional antagonist into a deeply unsettling and complex character. Close brings an intensity that is both seductive and terrifying, drawing audiences in to Alex's emotional volatility from the very first moment she's on the screen. What makes her portrayal so compelling is the humanity that she manages to interject into the role. Rather than just playing Alex as purely villainous, Close reveals her fragility, obsession, and desperation, making her actions disturbing yet strangely understandable. Her controlled shifts from calm vulnerability to explosive rage are executed with such precision, keeping viewers constantly on the edges of their seat. Ultimately, Close delivers a performance that is as psychologically gripping as it is iconic, elevating Fatal Attraction into a chilling character study that lingers long after the film ends. Nomination for Glenn Close gets a lot of attention, and many people do feel like she should have won that year because for her, this was one of the biggest and most defining moments of her career was Fatal Attraction. Unfortunately, one of those things back then too was if we look at the style of role as she had in Fatal Attraction as Alex, it was highly sexual, which is one thing that the Academy probably felt uncomfortable with. The tone of the film, again, super dramatic. It was also very controversial back then. it was just a different time. I think nowadays, if a performance like that came out, it would almost be a clean sweep to an Oscar victory. But that year didn't happen for Glenn Close. And the final nomination was for Sally Kirkland for Anna. Now, this was the performance I believe was Cher's biggest competition in that category that year. Sally Kirkland's performance in Anna is raw. It's fearless, and it's deeply affecting. She was playing a faded actress struggling with addiction and regret. Kirkland delivers a portrayal that feels almost uncomfortably real. There's a sense that she's not just acting the role, but living it, bringing emotional transparency that gives the film its entire weight. What makes her performance so striking is its lack of vanity. Kirkland fully embraces Anna's vulnerability, her desperation, her loneliness, her moments of fleeting hope, without softening any of the character's rough edges. Every line and gesture feels spontaneous, as if it's pulled directly from a lived experience rather than scripted drama. Ultimately, it's a performance driven by emotional truth rather than polish, and that honesty is what makes it so powerful. Kirkland carries the film from start to finish, leaving a lasting impression that's both haunting and deeply human. Now, when award season came around, Kirkland won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Drama, proving that she was a fierce competitor in the Best Actress category. She was also one of the first actors to personally fund a campaign all on her own to get herself that Oscar nomination. This was not normal back then. It is not like the huge campaigns that we see today to get that Academy Award nomination. A terrific performance. If you haven't seen the movie, you should watch it. It is one of the great performances of that year. But ultimately, her movie, it was a smaller movie. It was an independent movie. It just didn't have the momentum that Moonstruck had. And again, Moonstruck just hit so many people at their core, and it made people feel happy. It moved them. And when people can relate to a film, that is the biggest chance of hitting that Oscar stage. And then the big moment happened. Paul Newman took the stage with the envelope, and it happened.
The winner is Cher in Moonstruck.
The auditorium rose to its feet and applauded Cher with a full heart. This wasn't just another actress getting an award. It marked the culmination of years of persistence, reinvention, defiance, and hard work to overcome who people thought she was. Taking the stage, Cher delivered a short but unforgettable speech, famously ending with the phrase, "I don't think this makes me somebody, but I guess I'm on my way." It was humble, it was honest, so in conclusion, and it was Cher's perfectly Oscar Cher. win isn't just about one performance. It was about breaking expectations. At this time, it was really rare for a pop star, basically, to break into the film industry, and not only break into it, but receive the highest honor within that industry. She challenged the ideas that entertainers need to stay in their lane. She proved that reinvention wasn't just possible, but it could be very powerful. And of course, in, the way Cher does things, she did it on her own terms. And what can we say? That is simply Cher. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. As always, please like, subscribe so I can continue doing more videos, and I am going to be bringing you more videos. And we will see you next time. Thank you for watching The Real Verdict. Thank you. Bye.